Hi, everyone. This is Suzanne Wagner, and I am in the process of getting from Spokane to my home in Northern California. At the moment, I am staying in Redding overnight just as a break because from Spokane to Redding, it was about 11 hours. So it's like a long drive. So I still have another like 4 to go for tomorrow. But anyway, I am in this lovely hotel doing the numerology and astrology for May 22nd, 2021. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 14. And if you add the 1 and the 4 together, you get the number 5. The number 5 is the earth energy number. It's the physical body. It's health and well-being. It's the divine feminine. It's witchcraft magic, earth magic, the good red road. And so today reminds me, and hopefully all of us, that we might as well put on our running shoes because while we may start this day in a crouch, ready to begin a race, it will end in a full tilt run towards the finish line. There is so much shifting around, and it is designed to exhaust and push others to their breaking point. Don't let you be one of them. Tensions can make us want to snap, but don't let others break us down in ways that impact our health. Never allow those whose sanity is in question to determine our truth and destiny. It becomes clear that there are so many out there yelling, "Wolf, wolf, wolf," and they try to incite fear in others, but it is not working any longer. Everybody's done that knee-jerk reaction for so long that now people are calling wolf, and we're like, you are just insane. You're mentally ill. You're insane. All these crazy games and lies and everything that are happening. It's crystal clear that this is not going to work any longer. And we're just not going to fall for it. So the darkest place for the number 5 is fear. The number 5 is life force energy, but when that is suppressed, it becomes fear of life, fear of living life fully, fear of making mistakes. And so I often say that the people that are most afraid are always trying to make everyone else afraid because they don't want to be alone in their fear, because then they look like the crazy person that they actually are. So as a result, it's like they try and incite fear, and just don't fall for it. Just don't bite the hook. I mean, it's just like stop, drop into yourself and go, I think I'm okay. Bills are paid. My house payment is in, car payment is in, my health is good. Just don't fall for it because, that's the only way we're going to turn this tide right here. Intentionally causing fear in others and causing responses to make some feel, basically those who cause responses to make some feel fear are trying to be in control or have power over others. And when they do that, it always backfires. So it's beginning to backfire now, in case you didn't notice that. And the way to stop such bad behavior is to stop listening to those that do it and stop reacting. And I just look at them like they're crazy people because they are crazy people. I'm like, and you're afraid. And you're afraid. I just, keep reflecting that mirror back to them. In ancient times, when this kind of behavior was going on, people got shunned. They got pushed away from the protection of the tribe. And that was like life-threatening in the old days. That was very dangerous. It was a terrifying prospect that stopped such horrific behavior from continuing to infect the tribe. So, again, it's sort of a tricky thing here. It's like, at a certain point, people have to grow up and they have to take responsibility for their own emotions and their own responses. And we can't keep doing this as a society. We just can't keep doing this. We have to just, if you have to turn off the television, turn off the television. If you have to go for a walk, go for a walk. If you have to exercise profusely, exercise profusely. If you have to get the emotion out of your body, which I highly recommend, it's fine, because I understand there's a lot of negativity in the world. There's a lot of fear in the world. There's a lot of stuff going around, and it's hard to not be a piece of tape in a lint pile. And it's a linty pile. At the moment, it's a super linty pile. So it's best to kind of just get the lint off you from other people and then just get back to your own center and go, oh, actually, I'm okay. I'm okay. Okay, the astrology today. The moon has been in Libra. And Libra is the sign of balance and justice. And so needless to say, today you want fairness. And That desire is getting louder and is going to become more relentless. Without justice and accountability, there never can be peace. And people right now have really had enough. Humanity is completely exhausted by the relentless destructive tendencies of a few. Trust me, I listen to them all day. And, humanity is going to make a change, and that change is beginning. And politeness does not work in the face of evil or controlling people who intend to get away with as much as they can. And harmony can only come from demanding accountability for those causing suffering. Mercury squares Neptune, and feelings are spewing out the mouths of those feeling unheard. If anyone thinks that they can get away with such behavior, they're going to be sorely mistaken. Saying the wrong thing can get the response of a verbal explosion. Facts, and more facts will keep coming out as we get into June, because next month it will be where the reality can come crashing down. June is actually supposed to be one of the best months of the year, but it's simply because it's the game of truth or consequences. And so we've had not enough truth and not enough consequences. And June is the month of consequences starting to come back in, which is good, a little intense, but it's going to be good. So expect chaos and upset from some and relief and vindication from others. It will not be easy, but it is necessary. Uncertainty makes some demand verbal commitments that are completely unreasonable and the expression of vagaries that may not be true. Now is not the time to live in fantasy at this moment, because it packs a punch and it's going to impact things that will prevent those who intended to subvert democracy through deceptive means. Be prepared, because situations will arise that push us to the limit if they're not already doing that for so many. Okay, my quote for today. I will not tolerate anything more from those who ignore. I will not allow from those who disavow. I have had enough of those who lie and bluff. Let them all be warned. I have had enough from the scorned. I have no need to make any of them bleed. I know they feel so alone, but expressing hate will not atone. There is not enough time in life to exist filled with despair and strife. I wish to leave this earth knowing that I tried to give worth. I pray for those whose mind never learned how to be kind. Many have a long way to go, and for them, the path may be rickety and slow. Okay. So, as I was driving for 11 hours today, I was looking at all these emotional patterns and distortions that basically turn into forms of mental illness. I mean, real serious mental illness, fear being an obvious one. So when fear is suppressed, it turns into depression. When fear is expressed and allowed to feed on itself, it becomes inflammatory and it becomes very distorted, and it kind of turns a molehill into a mountain, and it wants to enroll everybody around in that fear, because then that person doesn't feel alone. Oh my God, this is going to happen. And then if you go, oh my God, is that going to happen? Then you're feeding energy into that person's fear instead of stopping it and interrupting it. And I don't think you're doing a person a service by going in reaction to it. I remember John Upledger, the craniosacral therapy guru, one of his favorite phrases was, if you feel yourself emotionally caught up in someone else, your client's process, like all of a sudden inside your brain is going, oh my God, that's so terrible. Oh my God. Like if you're caught in that, you're in the mud with them. You can't pull anybody out if you're in the mud with them, right? So Yes, people need to be witnessed. Yes, people need to move through fear. They need to express fear, and they need somebody to observe them and to witness them and allow them to move through the fear. But you can witness them and honor and respect and send love to them without feeding the fear and actually accelerating that process or validating the stupidity of the loop that their brain is in. And the same is really true for anger. I mean, so, again, if anger is suppressed, it becomes gapped rage and it becomes really dangerous. And it's where people, explode and lash out and, murder people and get completely out of control. Like that's terrible, obviously. And that's not good. And when anger is unleashed, without it moving up through the body and moving through the heart and being expressed through the heart, if it's just raw rage coming out. I mean, I think anger, like knee jerk, raging anger, is a really severe form of mental illness. I mean, I think it's okay to be pissed off at a situation. I don't think it's healthy or mentally a stabilizer to hate others. I think hating others or hating chocolate or hating massages is a form of dysfunction. I mean, it's like, you're kidding, right? You hate a massage. Like people are like, oh, I hate that. I just hate that. And I'm like going, did you try it? Oh yeah, but I hated it. I'm like, well, maybe it was bringing something up for you, which is usually what the issue is. Like, I hate the feeling that was coming up inside of me in that process, or that experience with that person made me feel insecure, so I hate them. I'm like, so to me, hate often is a twist. Now, there is pure anger that I think you can get angry when somebody's overriding your boundary and you can say enough is enough. And I think that is perfectly healthy. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these judgments that people make, like, oh, I hate cilantro. Okay, well, you could be one of those people that your genetics, when you taste cilantro, it tastes like soap. So you can say you dislike cilantro because it tastes like soap to you and you have a genetic thing, but to say you hate it is like, it's like feeds this dark energy on the planet that I just don't think we need to feed this stuff anymore. I mean, I think there's so many people feeding anger and fear and resentment and all this kind of stuff, and they're bringing it out like a justification, like, I know and I hate that and that's shitty and no matter what, that's shitty, and in any way, that shape and form, that's shitty. And I'm like, well, but you usually don't even know people like that. Like, oh, I hate, a culture. And I'm like, that's insane. Like, if you haven't lived in that culture, you can't say you hate it. You don't even have an experience of it. A hate is a judgment based on not having an experience of something. I swear that's what it is. And so, today I want everybody to kind of look at these like ultimatums that you put out, like, oh, I hate this. I hate that. I hate that shampoo. That's just terrible. I'm like, well, that's okay. It's okay if that shampoo doesn't work for your type of hair. But you don't have to hate it. You can just say, oh, that shampoo doesn't work for me. I mean, it makes my hair oily or something. But I want everybody to watch these words that are absolutes, and they're very judgmental, that can come out of our mouth. And if we could just hold that back a little bit and just go, okay, I dislike bubblegum ice cream. I prefer chocolate. That's fine. But to say you hate bubblegum ice cream, I mean, why would you hate bubblegum ice cream? I mean, like, why would you even put energy into hating bubblegum ice cream, right? So I hear this so much that people are saying these things like, I hate this and I hate that and I hate the way this world is, and I'm like, okay, just stop and stop saying the word hate. Stop saying the words I'm afraid. Stop judging other people, and really look at the words, the words that we're using, and say, is that really true? It's like, using a Katie Byron model. Is that really true? Do you really hate bubblegum ice cream? Well, no, not really. I just prefer chocolate. Okay. Do I really hate short hair? No, you just don't prefer short hair. You prefer long hair. It's a preference. It's okay to have preferences. I totally am fine with preferences. I'm not okay with this strong languaging that seems to have become the norm, that makes people feel like they know something. And I'm like, I don't know. If I haven't had, spearmint ice cream, how would I know I dislike spearmint ice cream? Why not try spearmint ice cream? You maybe like it, So stay open, stay flexible, listen to the words that you say in your head, listen to the words that come out of your mouth. Do they serve your growth? Do they serve the expansion of compassion in your being? Do they serve the people in your life? Do they open people in love, or do they shut people down in fear and anger and contraction? That's it. That's all. Okay, thanks everybody.